What up, peeps? KgDrifty's in the building. I'm here to bring you guys some more Last of Us Remastered faction tips and strategies. So without further ado, man, let's jump straight into the video. And I know you guys, I know it's been a while since I made videos like this for you guys. And I've just been dropping nothing but bangers on multiplayer, destroying people and things like that. But in this video, I've been seeing a lot of people discussing, like in my past videos, talking about the weeks and things for people who are trying to get the platinum trophy and who are trying to complete the weeks in the factions, such as the Hunter and the Firefly trophy, and just getting the weeks done, because I know some people have been having a little bit more difficult in it. But before I get more in depth with this video, I want to let you guys know I'm not going to go furthermore so much in depth in this video. I do have a video that I made in the past that I will put in the description below that I highly recommend that you guys checking out, that goes more so in depth on the tiers on these missions, so you can get a little bit more of a necessity on what you need to do and how to plan and prep a lot easier. With this video, I'm just going to give you guys pretty much my top missions that I highly recommend doing when you're furthermore into the weeks, when you're at 100% risk population, so it can be a whole lot easier and not so much of a hassle for you guys, so you can get done with those weeks a whole lot easier. So I'm just going to give you guys my top ones that I do recommend doing when you're more so deep into it. But like I said, if you want more and more of a advanced and more in-depth video with these missions and more of the tiers and how to set up a whole lot better, check out the video below. Like I said before, check out the past video that I made, and I go highly in-depth in the video on missions that you need to do and missions that you don't do, so you can complete the trophies a whole lot easier. So without further ado, like I said before, let's get straight into it. Now, as you guys can see with this list, it's a whole table, right? As you can see with the list, some of these missions are green, some of them are yellow, and some of them are red. Green represents the ones that require no preparation, which is a whole lot easier. Yellow represents the one that a little bit more risky and a little bit more difficult, but it's still doable. And the red goes for the ones that I wouldn't recommend doing for the high 100% population. So always I think that personally you should stick with the green ones more so when you're further deep into the weeks, so such as week 6 and so forth, and including the days. And then I recommend doing the yellow and the red when you're more so early on in the game, just because you can get the harder ones out first. So as you can see on the list, the yellow ones are the heal teammates, down Molotovs, down with bombs, mark enemies, down with melee, shiv executions, down with 9mm, and the headshots. Now, I can say this, the heal teammate is the healing teammates is the easiest of all of them in this list. In terms of the weeks, it don't require anything like that. All you got to do is heal your teammate. You heal your teammates a whole lot faster, and literally it just stacks up just like that. You literally get done with this mission within one game, literally, depending on if you're really if you play medic really hard. So I don't think that the healing teammate is definitely not yellow. It's definitely green. And this mission right here with the heal teammates, and I repeat, listen to me, I highly recommend using this when it's 100% population, just because it's a whole lot easier than it's the easiest one on this whole list alone. So I promise you, I highly recommend using this one when you're towards the 100% population risk mark. So mostly when you're towards week 11, mostly when you're towards week 10 to week 12. I recommend doing it. You can do it more so when you're at week 9 to week 8, just because, it's still a little bit closer. But if you do it within those two, I say do it at least once or twice at most. But if you can, save mostly the healing teammates missions, save it more so when you're towards the end of the week, such as week 10, week 11, and week 12 in the days itself. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with that for you guys, but like I said, I just highly recommend doing that. It just comes out a whole lot easier. Special executions, as you can see, it's red. It goes for the harder ones. I could say that it's hard, and the bow and the long range is definitely hard. So the ones that's yellow and red, just do those more so when you're do those missions when you're excluding the healing teammates. Remember, I recommend, like I said before, put the heal teammates on the easy list, on the easy tier. It's a lot easier. It's not that hard. But for the other ones that are orange and stuff, use those for early on in the game, so you can get those out a whole lot easier. So it'll be a whole lot easier for you to complete those, so you don't have to worry about those type of ones in the long run. Now, the green ones, I highly recommend doing the green missions. The ones that are green, which is quote unquote the easiest, I recommend doing those, like I said before, when you're deeper into it, because it makes it a whole lot easier for you to get done with those weeks a whole lot better. So that's the downing enemies, the execution, the revives. I think the revives is a little bit more harder, in my opinion, opinion, I think that the revive should pretty much go on the yellow list, because it can be a little bit hard, but unless you have Reviver 3, it don't be as much difficult for you. So, but I would pretty much exchange the heal teammates and the revive. I would put the heal teammates as green and put the revives as orange, just because, I mean, put the heal teammates, the revives as yellow, just because the reviving teammates can be a little bit of a difficulty, especially if you're going against good players, because all they'll do is rush you. You know what I mean? So I do recommend doing the heal. I recommend reviving your teammates. I put that as a yellow tier. So definitely save that for the beginning of the list or beginning of the weeks, just because it can be a little bit more difficult if you're going against a higher teammate. But in terms of the green ones, like I said, I think the executions, the down enemies, and then downs with any of the weapons that you think that you are good with are definitely top tier, that I think you should save towards the end of the weeks, just because it's a whole lot easier and it's less difficult compared to the other ones below. But like I said, just to get a little bit more of an in-depth for you guys, like I said before, heal teammates, save that for the last, save that for the last week, such as week 10 and week 11 and week 12. I highly recommend saving it, just because it's the easiest on the list. And then the ones that are yellow and red, save that. Do those more so when you're in the beginning of the week, so you can get the harder ones, and then the red ones as well, get the harder ones done with, so you don't have to worry about it. But the green ones pretty much just goes by how good you are, in my opinion. So like down in enemies and stuff like that, if you're good at the game, or you're a mediocre player and you can at least get some kills, then it can definitely become a whole lot easier, especially when you get more into the weeks. But sometimes it can be difficult, especially if you're going against tryhards. Now, going in depth of the weeks. So as you guys can see right here as well, I did a screenshot of the weeks. So as you can see, it got week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, week 10, 11, week 12. So it also goes by days as well. So when you're starting off with week 1, obviously, as you can say, week 1 start off as day 6. So it's a plus 10 population mission. So what that pretty much means is, for people who are new to the game, that you earn population when you complete those missions. So like I said, when it comes down to week 1, week 2, and then when you come down to week 3, but day 7, I highly recommend doing the mediocre, the yellow and the I recommend doing the yellow and the red missions for those, just because they're the hardest ones. Now, as you can see, don't get a little bit confused. As you can see on the chart, it's green, and then, it's yellow, and then red, and then green. So pretty much this represents, don't tie these in with the missions, just because is that I don't want you guys to get confused and think that, just because the green is the green, so the green recommendation should be easy. No, that's not the case. The green just represents that you shouldn't have to worry as much as compared to the yellow and red. So anytime that you get to week 6, day 1, and it has 100% population risk, do the missions that are green. So if you go back to the chart, like I mentioned before, do the missions that are green, that are easier, so you can complete those a whole lot better. Now, anytime that the missions are green, as you can see for week 1 and week 2, day 6 and day 4, and week 3, which is yellow, I recommend doing the harder missions, just because it won't impact you as much as compared to 100% risk population. So when you get to week 6 and week 8 and week 10 and week 11, day 6 and week 12, as you can see for week 6, day 1, it's 100% population risk. Week 8 is day 2, 100% population risk. Week 10, day 3, 100% population risk. Week 11, day 6, 100% population risk. Week 12, day 4, 100% population risk. So with those 100% population risk, I would highly recommend going back to the chart that I said before and use the missions that are green, because it's, like I said, it's a lot easier. You don't have to worry so much about it. And then the harder ones you use for population, negative 60% population risk, and that is day 2 and day 3 for week 3 and week 5. So, and then for the rest that are green, such as week 1, week 2, and then week 3 with the day 7 and so forth, as you can see on the list, use the ones that are harder. And I'm telling you, it will be a whole lot easier for you guys, and you guys can get this done in no time. Now, like I said, just to do a little bit more of a recap for you guys, if I confuse you guys so much. And then also, another thing I want you guys to know is that even though when things are 100% population risk, you don't necessarily always have to complete the mission 100%. So if you get at least half of the mission done, you are 100% Good. So as you can see, I am going to show you guys the list right here on how it works out when you're at a population risk. So as you can see how as you complete some of those missions, it goes down. So as you can see, if you don't complete none of them at all, you risk 100%, right? And then after that, if you see, and if you go furthermore, the more lower you go, the more people that you risk on 100% population. So if you finish half of the challenges, so like for example, right? So let's say you have to do down enemies. And if you have to get the down enemies is 3, 6, and 9, and you're on 100% population. So if you get 3 of them, if you kill 3 of the enemies and you get 3 of them done, if you kill 3 of the enemies of the population, right, you only risk 60% of that population that you lose. And if you kill 6 of them, you risk 40%. And then you kill 9 of them, you risk 20%. You know what I mean? So even if you cannot complete the full tier and you get, let's say, for example, you get to 6, you risk 40% of your population. If your population is already high, then it won't impact you as much. It only will impact you if your population is low. So remember, keep that in mind. So always, if you can, collect those, collect the little food things, the little blue supply things, keep that up there. So if you cannot finish that week and you can at least get half of the challenge done, you risk a little bit lower percentage compared to if you didn't get none of them done and you risk 100% population and you just lose all your people. So just always keep that in mind. If you can see, like I said on the list, I'm going to make it a whole lot, as you can see, I'm going to make it a whole lot easier so you guys can really truly understand it. But you don't always have to fully complete the missions in order to keep your population going. As long as you get at least half of them done and risk low of them, like I said before, a 40% population, you will be straight, especially if you have higher numbers. You know what I mean? It won't impact you as much as if you had 60% or 100%. So just always keep that in mind. And I'm telling you, it will be a whole lot easier for you guys, and you guys can get these weeks done in no time. And also, one last tip I want to let you guys know, little quick hack for you guys. If you find yourself doing 100% population and you cannot fully get done with the missions, you can always close your app in mid-game. Remember that. Close your app in mid-game. You can go right back into the game, and then you can start back over on that same day. So, for example, if you're at, let's say you're at 100% population cap, right, at a risk of it, and then you're on day 2, or no, you're on day 3, and then you have, like I said, we're going to go back to the down enemies. And let's say you have 6 enemies down, right? Or you have 3 enemies down. You have 3 of them down, and then you need 6 to risk that 60% population. If you didn't get to that 6 down mark and you still at 3 and you're already, that 40%. And if you risk that number of lives, you didn't get to that 6, and then you're about to, get completely out and you got to start over again. Before the game ends, you can close out the app, and then you can start back up, and you can start back at day 3 again, so it can give you another chance. So keep that in mind. So if you cannot complete it, always close your app so you can get another go through at it again, so you can end up completing it. But there you guys have it. I hope I didn't make this video a little bit too confusing. For people who, if you are confused and you kind of need a little bit more insight, definitely comment below and let me know so I can give you guys a more in-depth and help you guys out with these challenges, because I know it could be a little bit of a burden, especially if you're new to the game or if you're kind of a mediocre player and you're not as good to like really get some of the stuff done. Just going by this list makes it a whole lot easier for y'all. But like I said, if you are confused and you need a little bit more help, definitely comment below and I will give you guys more in-depth info on it. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this video helped you guys out. Good luck on you guys. Good luck on the road to platinum. Good luck on trying to get these missions done. I'm telling you, it's a whole lot easier if you follow this formula. I promise you will get this stuff done in no time. I promise you that. Hope you guys enjoy it. More great videos coming soon. Thank you guys so much for supporting, and I'll see you guys in the next one.